Now, let us see what are the things that can burn, that can have the flame which is surrounding us. Now, you know that everything which is around us, maximum of these things can burn with the flames only. There are only few exceptions which cannot burn with the flame. So, let us look at the terms given to these things. Now, here we have is the inflammable substance. What is this inflammable substance? The substance which have very low ignition temperature. Now, what is ignition temperature? We have already studied in the earlier section that the temperature, the lower temperature at which a substance catches fire is known as its ignition temperature. Now, if the substance is having the very low ignition temperature and can easily catch fire with the flame. Now, the word flame here is very important because the substances which can catch fire and produce the flame, that only substances will be known as the inflammable substances. Here the word inflammable does not mean the flame is not there. It does mean that the flame is there. So, the substances which will be having the flame in it will be known as inflammable. So, these substances which are maximum available in our surroundings will be producing the heat with the help of the flame only. We have few of the examples that you can say that LPG is there, wood is there, paper is there. There are so many things. Okay. So, these are the substances which are known as inflammable substances. Now, if you have known that somebody has caught fire or some places have catch fire, then what to do? What are the first aspects that we can do by our side? Yes, you will of course say that we can call the fire brigade. What will the fire brigade do? Come over here and do the work? They will be just cut off the source of the fuel, that is the air. If the air is cut off from the fire or the flame, then easily we can vanish the fire. So, what the people will do? They will just throw the water in the full force. You must have seen the pipelines which is attached to the fire brigades. Okay. So, what they are doing? They are supplying a lot of water, but in a huge force, by which the oxygen will not be reaching to the flames of the substances which has caught the fire. Now, because of this, what will happen? The water will be reaching the substance which has already got the flames. Now, when the water is supplied to that substance, the cut of the air will be there, means the substance will not be having more of the air which is connected with the substance or the fuel, you can say. Suppose we have here a box catching fire. Now, what will happen? This is the box which has caught the fire. Now, if I will supply the forcefully water on it, what will happen? It will be having the water only locked over here, and because of that the air will be not being entering from any of the places. This will be making the flame to lower down and not having any of the more of the heat to that substance. Now, if we are pouring water on any of the hot substance, the second thing that comes in your mind, that water will be transferred into the water vapor forms, means it will be evaporated directly because it's already hot. So, what will happen? This water will be converted from liquid into the gaseous, that is the water vapor form. This will be also acting as a extinguisher in the form. So, what will be happening over there? It will be making the vapors. Now, these vapors will be forming a cloud-like substance over here, which will not allow the air to enter and have the flame to the substance again. This is how the fire brigade people work around us when anything has caught fire. Now, these are the things. Now, because of these things, you people have came to know that there are three things very essential to have anything to get fire. What are these three things? Let's look at that. The three essential things we have is first of all is the fuel. If you don't have any of the fuel, nothing will catch fire. Now, the second thing is the air. If you don't have any supply of the air, you cannot have the fire to be catch. The third thing we have is the heat. Without flame or the heat, anything could not get burned. So, these are the three aspects that will require to burn anything you want to burn them. So, keeping these things in your mind, we can burn anything whenever it is required, and even we can use these things to extinguish the fire also. So, these are the aspects about the fire brigades. So, we know that the most common extinguisher that is available near us is water. Yes, anything when catches fire, we know that if we will dip into the water, it will be extinguishes. But do you know that there are some limitations for water also? Now, here we can see water can be used to extinguish only the fire when it is caught in the fuel, that is wood and paper. Other than that, what will happen if you will be supplying the water to that? Suppose any electrical substances have caught the fire. If you will pour water, what will happen? You know that water is a good conductor of electricity. So, what will happen? even the person, those who are throwing the water will also catch in the electric shock and they will also be having the fire. So it is more dangerous when the water is being utilized for the extinguishing of the fire equipments, that is in the electricity. But for that purpose, when electrical appliances or any of the equipments are getting the heat or fire, what we can do is we can just use the CO2. It is the best ever extinguisher that we can have. Now what are the reasons that why we consider that CO2 is the best extinguisher in the world? Let's see at that point. CO2, that is the carbon dioxide, being heavier than O2, means if it is heavier than O2, what will happen? Its density is much more heavier. So it will be going down and O2 will be going up. As we know that the temperature, the weight of the CO2 will be heavier, so it will be going down. So what will happen to it? It will be making a blanket around the substance which is getting the fire, and thus the O2 will not be reaching to the substance which has already got the fire. So means it will not be reaching, O2 will not be reached the fuel where the flame is there. So what will happen? It will automatically cut off the oxygen supply to the substance. The second thing, does not harm the equipments. The best thing is that if any of the electrical substances have caught fire and we are supplying the CO2 to it, there will be no harm to the equipments, rather than the flames have been done. So from our side there will be no harm to it because it is very easy to take it out. The third thing that we can say is bring the temperature down. So if the temperature will be coming down automatically, the flames will not be existing only. So thus it is known as the excellent extinguisher of the fire. Now here we can say that if we don't possess these things at the home, what we can do? The first thing that we can do is go to your kitchen. In kitchen we have so many things, you know that your mama is making so many things like the doklas, idlis, cake and so many of the things. In that what do we use first is the baking powder. Okay, now here we are having something which is very similar to that also. So sodium bicarbonate, that is the scientific term to given to this baking soda. Now baking soda is always available at the home also. So what we can do if any electrical supplies or equipments are having the fire or the flame are there, what you can do? Just go to the kitchen, hurry up and take out the baking soda in your pinch of in your hands and just throw it to the equipments. What will happen is, you know, the CO2 will be automatically will be produced over there when it is coming in the contact with the fire. So there will be less of the harm to the equipments. Understand? The second thing we are having is the potassium bicarbonate. So this will also be releasing CO2 when it is applied to the flame for the equipments which are present in our home. So these are the things which we can say that it will be not harming our equipments but extinguishing the fire also. Now third thing we can have is, you must have heard that petrol pumps are catching fire and so many times because in the heat in the summer season it's very high. So what will happen? Petrol or oil, if they are catching the fire very soon, how you can extinguish it? We cannot supply water to it or not even the CO2 to it. The best thing we can use is the sand, because water if we will apply, it is not allowed to water to have the petrol and the oil. Why? Because the density of the water is very heavier. So what will happen? It will go down automatically and the petrol will be going upper layer and will be started flaming. It will not affect the petrol or the oil anymore. So water is not allowed to have it in the petrol or the oil fire. So for that reason we need to have the sand. So these are some of the points which we need to take in our mind because this is for the routine life. Let us see the types of the combustion. Now what are the types of the combustion? You would be surprised to know that is there any types for these also? But yes, have you seen the crackers firing in the Diwali time? Yes, there are blast suddenly, that is the crackers. If you have seen that the matchstick brought near to the gas stove, what will happen? It will burn, but suddenly it will burn. Okay, so these are the few of the types which are termed in the science with some of the science terminologies. What are these terms given to them? The first one is the rapid combustion. Now rapid word itself suggests us that rapid means which is very fast. So we can know that the gases will be catching faster fire. So this will be the example of the rapid combustion, means faster catching fire. So gas is the first one example that you can have. Phosphorus is the another example, as we have seen in the history of the matchstick that phosphorus is the substance which is going to catch fire very easily and faster. So it is utilized in the matchsticks to be burned. The next one we are having is the spontaneous combustion. Now what is this spontaneous combustion? The terminology spontaneous means here that the suddenly burst. We are using the word that is the burst into flame. So sudden bursting of the substance into the flame without the application of any apparent cause. So if we are not putting any fire to a substance, but still it catches fire and it has started in the combustion, then what we can give them as a name? So thus it is given as a name as a spontaneous combustion. Now the example we can have for the spontaneous combustion is the forest fire, where we does not go to apply the fire to it, but it will be catching it fire because of the sun rays, which is very high tempered. So spontaneous combustion means without fire, if anything has happened to the substance and suddenly it has caught fire, then that will be known as the spontaneous combustion. Now word used over here is again looking at this, burst into flame without the application of any apparent cause. So if you are not applying any external forces to it by the flames, still it will catch fire, it will be known as the spontaneous combustion. The next combustion that we have is the explosion. Yes, explosions, everybody you would be like to know that crackers, when you are firing crackers, what happens to it? Suddenly it will be burst into fire. Sometimes it does not give fire, just it gives the sound also. So it is said that when the crackers are ignited, what will happen to it? You know the result. Sudden reaction will be there, and as a result it will be giving out the heat, means the temperature surrounding it will become very hot, and the second thing will come out is the light. It will be emitting some of the light, and as a result the sound is also going to be produced. So the crackers are the best example you can say about the explosions. Now explosions can also occur if there are some more pressure given to these crackers. It is not only that we are giving the flame and it will burst again. So it is can be given with a high pressure also. So two things are over there in the explosions, that whenever high pressure is supplied or flame is given to the crackers, it will be just giving out the heat, light and sound. Thus it is known as the explosion. Let's have a quick recap of what we have studied. That is, the rapid combustion means whenever the fire or the flame is to the substance very faster. Rapid word means very fast. So it is gas or phosphorus. These are the best example. So that is rapid combustion. Next we have is the spontaneous combustion, where the external effort is not required. It will catch fire by its own. So that is known as the spontaneous combustion. The third one, that is the explosion, which when burned or with the pressure also, when it is having the pressure on it, it will be giving out what? Three things will be emitted, that is the heat, light and sound. So it will be known as the explosion. Let's have the flames also being looking out for this. Now we know that what type of the flames we have seen. There are three types of the flames we have seen. The magnesium strip, when it was burning, it was having the white colored flame, which was very surprised to see, okay, and lovely also to be seen. The second flame, which is in the burners, gas burners, it is having the blue colored flame, so it is also second color. The third color that you have seen is the candle or the matchstick. When you are burning, which type of the flame do you see over there? That is a yellow colored flame. So there are three types of the colored of the flames that you can see over there. Now we will be looking at the structure of the flame. So the structure of the flame is something different. When you are having the candle light, what will happen? The structure seems to be having layers. Now what are these layers? We will be looking further. Let us look at some of the examples which are given to us and identify them, as they can form the flames or do not form the flames. So let's have the example. First we have given is the candle. The candle will be forming the flame. What do you say? Yes, of course they will be forming the flame, and that also of the yellow color. What about the magnesium? Yes, magnesium will also be giving the flame, that is of white color. Now what about the camphor? Camphor means what? Kapoor, yes, which we use in our daily prayers. So camphor will also be flamed and giving the heat and light, both the things. Kerosene stove, we have seen the kerosene stoves. Yes, in the villages it is being used. So this will be also giving the flame. Yes, of course. Then we are having the charcoal. Now charcoal means what? Colso, or the wood portion which is burnt. Now what will happen to it? This will not be giving us the flame, but it will be having the combustion, as you have studied in the earlier portion of this chapter also. Let us see some of the parts, that is the structure of the flame. There are three parts that you can see clearly over here on the blackboard. What are these parts? The first one is the outermost part, that is blue in color, that is the hottest part. You cannot put your finger in that, but you can put your finger in this yellow portion because it is moderate heat, because it will not be so much hot as compared to the blue flame. So the outer zone of the complete combustion, that is blue in color, is over here, and which will be the hottest part of the flame. The second portion, that is the yellow form, that is the moderate hot. It will not be too hot, but it will be having the middle zone of the partially burnt particles, means there will be some unburnt carbon particles which will be present over here, which will be also known as the luminous zone, and is yellow in color, as you can even see in the picture also. The last one, that is the innermost part, which we could not see properly from the outer portion, that is known as the innermost zone of the unburned wax vapors, that is in black in color. As you have seen near the wick of the candle, you can see some portion which is black in color. So that is this portion, which is the black portion, which will be having the unburned portions present over there, which will be having least hot. You cannot see any temperature over there, but the most hot will be the flame, which is the outermost portion. Now here we can say that some experiments are required to find out that which portion is very hot and which one is the moderate hot and which one is the least hot. Yes, for that also we have some activities over there. Now first of all, let us find out whether the part which is shown at the outermost layer is the hottest one or not. For that, what you can do is you can just take a copper wire which is available at every home. What you have to do is just keep it, place it over there on the topmost layer. After some time you will find that this copper wire has become red hot in color. What is the reason for that? It shows that the flame which is the outermost now has converted this copper wire, which was yellow in color, completely red portion, means it has make the copper wire very hot. It proves that this portion, that is the first layer, is the hottest one. Now let us look at the second layer. What about the second layer? It is saying that it is the moderate hot. It is not too hot, but we know that there are some unburned carbon particles which are placed over there. Now how to find it out? So for that reason we can have that, we can place. Let us look at the yellow form of the flame. Now what is this yellow showing the color? Let us find out that if we are placing a slide over here, you can place the whole slide over there in such a way that it is touching the yellow portion of the flame. After some time you will be surprised to see that this slide has already got some black colored portion over here in the middle of the slide. Now this will be showing that these are the unburned particles which are present over there in the flame, which are not allowed to go out. If they were allowed to go out, they would have vaporized and went to the atmosphere, but that was not allowed, so it has become dark in color in the slide. Now there comes, that is the last one, that is the least hot, that is the black colored portion of the flame. Now to find out that what will happen to this portion, we are going to put a pipe over here which is directly immersed with the flame nearby the wick, but it is not going to extinguish the flame. In such a manner we have to keep it or place it over here. Now the other end of the pipe will be going over there in the atmosphere. There we have to put a lighted matchstick. Now this lighted matchstick will be working as a flame to this portion. What will happen to this? You will find to see that some of the dark particles will be placed from here wick to the pipeline and will be reaching over here to the other end of the pipe. As we know that this will be the flame portion, will also be giving the attraction to this portion, and thus the black portions or the particles which are unburned will be getting the fire from here, means this will be also catch fire. It shows that the wick which is having the black colored portion, which will be having some of the unburned particles, will be over there and will be reaching the other end to give the flame. This will be also having the releasing of the unburned carbon particles. Now these are the types of the flames that we have studied over here, and we know that the goldsmith uses a different type of the flame for burning of the metals. You know which type of the flame they are using? Yes, they are using only the blue colored flame. They don't need the yellow and the black colored flame. Why? Because this is the hottest one, and thus it will be allowing the metal to melt very faster, being the hot flame. So let us see what the fuel in the term of the science is. Now fuel means what? Sources of the heat energy for the domestic and industrial purposes. That means what? When anything is burned and we are getting the energy from that, that is the fuel. That substance which is burning and giving us the energy is termed to be the fuel. We have the examples here: wood, charcoal, petrol, oil, kerosene, so many of these things which will be burning and giving us the energy, that is known as the fuel. Now the next thing that comes to our mind is, what is the ideal fuel? Now in the world there is no ideal fuel available, but we can classify these things that there should be some of the points which will be for the ideal fuel. Now what are these points? First of all, let us find out. The first point that says is readily available. If a substance is readily available to us and easy to reach to our places, we will be allowed to have that, because that will be available and it will be having the nice availability to our houses. Now second point that comes is the cheap. It should be cheap also. If it is very costly, nobody would like to take it. Everybody will deny that, of course. So it should be readily available. It should be cheap also. And the third point that says is burns easily. If any of the fuel will be burning very easily, so it will be more of the likely to have it for ourselves. Otherwise, if it is very hard to burn, for example, if a paper is kept, it will be burning very easily. But instead of that, if a wood piece is kept, it is very hard to burn it. So if it is easily available, it is cheap also, it is burning very easily, then it should be the ideal fuel. The next point that comes is produces large amount of the heat. The purpose for the fuel for which we are taking the fuel is to get the heat from that. That is what the purpose is. So if it is not fulfilling this point, it is useless to have that fuel. The next point that comes is it does not leave any undesirable particles, means unburnt particles should not be left over. For an example, I can explain you that wood or cow dung cake, if we will take, what will happen to that? After burning off its complete one, what will left over there? It will be the ashes which will be left over. We would not like to have that every day in our houses. For that purpose, we are using what? LPG or CNG we are using, which will be not having any of the undesirable particles being left over. So that is, we are using all these things. Now if you can say that all these items are being, all these points are being fulfilled by any one fuel, so it is not possible. Either the other point will be just missed from that fuel. So there is no ideal fuel available in the market. So we can have here some of the examples are given in our textbook in table 6.3, where some of the fuels are identified in the solid, liquid and the gaseous. So let us see first of all what is given to us. In solid fuels there are some given examples, that is coal. We can add to that as wood or cow dung. In the liquid fuel it is given to us as kerosene oil. In that we can add is petrol, kerosene, diesel, all these things. In the gaseous fuel it is given to us as the natural gas. We can add to it biogas, LPG, CNG, all these things we can add to it. Now here is the one of the thing that if the fuels are burning and they are giving us the energy, can we measure that energy? Yes, of course we can. By that only we can identify that how much of the energy is being liberated by a particular fuel when it is burning, isn't it? So that we can keep it in the separate way, that for this purpose we want to burn this much of the energy, and for higher level energy we want to burn, we can use the other fuel also. So that is being known as the calorific value. Now when anything is burnt, means fuel when burnt, we can measure the energy for that in the calorific value. The term for science is that. Now what is this calorific value? Let us find out. The amount of the heat energy, which is being taken out, okay, produced on complete combustion of 1 kg of the fuel. Whenever the fuel is being burnt, if 1 kg of the fuel we are keeping for the burning, it is giving out the energy. That energy is known as to be calorific value. So the value of a particular substance, when we are burning 1 kg of any of the fuel and we are getting the energy, that energy will be measured, that is known as the calorific value of that particular fuel. Now what is the unit for taking this calorific value? The unit is said to be kilojoules per kg in 1 kg. Now we know that joules means what? It is again the unit to measure the energy. Now here we have kilojoules, which will be getting from 1 kg of the fuel. Now here a table is mentioned in our textbook which is sharing with us that is the calorific value of different fuels. Now fuels are given which are burned for 1 kg of the amount, and the energy which is being liberated from that will be shown to us. Now that will be in the unit of kilojoules per kg. So let us see which of the fuel will be having the highest and which will be having the lowest. Let's see and look at that. We have cow dung cake given here for 6000 to 8000 kilojoules per kg. The wood will burn and giving us 17,000 to 22,000 of the kilojoules per kg. Next we have is the coal that will be liberating 25,000 to 33,000 of the kilojoules, not small enough, isn't it? Petrol will be having 45,000 of the kilojoules. That's why little bit of the petrol will be allowed and will be giving us more of the energy, isn't it? Then we have the kerosene with the same value, that is 45,000 kilojoules per kg. We have diesel 45,000 kilojoules per kg. Then we have the methane gas, it is possessing 50,000 kilojoules per kg. Then we have the CNG that will be liberating 50,000 kilojoules per kg. Then the LPG comes, that is used in our domestic purpose, that will be liberating 55,000 kilojoules per kg. So you can assume that which one is the highest one. Okay. The next one we are having is the biogas. It will be liberating 35,000 to 40,000 kilojoules per kg. And last one is the hydrogen. Now it will be liberating 1,50,000 kilojoules per kg. So you can now assume that which one is the highest consuming energy or liberating energy. Yes, of course it is the hydrogen gas. But do you know that hydrogen gas can be used for the domestic or industrial purpose? Of course not, because it is the lightest gas and can burn and destroy so many things in our surroundings. So we are not using that hydrogen gas as the fuel in any of the purposes. Now burning of the fuel will be leading to some of the harmful production. What are these products that will be released by these things or the fuels when they are burned and will be harming us? Let us have a small look at it. Now let us see what are the harmfulness that is coming out when we are burning any of these coal, any of these fuels. Now one of them is the coal also, of course. So when we are burning the fuels, it will be leading to some of the harmful effects to our environment also. So what are these things? Now carbon fuels, we have studied that. What is a carbon fuel? Carbon fuel means the fuel which are formed from the carbon. Now what are that fuels? They are the vegetations. Yes, of course, vegetations means plants, green plants, dry plants, all these things are the wood, that is the carbon fuel. Means wood is to be considered here as the carbon fuel that is being formed from the plants. Now it will be burned, it will be releasing the unburned carbon particles. So when it is being heated or when it is being burnt as a fuel, it will be liberating the unburned carbon particles along with the heat energy also. So that is not good enough, that will be not used anywhere. So that is what one of the bad effect that we can have. The second thing, that is incomplete combustion. Now which of these things will be having incomplete combustion? The things which will be not burning properly, that will be leading to the incomplete combustion of the substances or the fuel. That will be releasing the carbon monoxide. That is what the dangerous gas or the poisonous gas you can say. So that is why it is said to us that when the coal is being burnt in the winter season, especially in the olden days, people used to burn the coal at the homes in the rooms for the keeping the room very warm. But what happened, you know? When the coal was burned, it was releasing carbon monoxide gas, which is very poisonous for our health, and every of the windows and the doors were closed during that time. So what happened? The person was dying at that moment because of this carbon monoxide gas was present in the room for a huge amount, and that was leading to the death of the people. So this is why it is said that when coal is being burned, we should not be going near to it. It is very poisonous gas which is released from that. Next one we have is increases the CO2. Now whenever any of the fuel is being burnt in the environment, what will happen? It will be releasing any or the other gas. So that is the main gas that is being released is the carbon dioxide. It will be increasing the amount of the carbon dioxide in the environment, and you know that when it is increased in the amount of the CO2 in the environment, what will be the result? The global warming. And because of the global warming, we have lot of things, you know about that also. Global thing, global warming will be leading the glaciers, the ice glaciers to be melt down, and it will be added to the sea water, and thus the sea level will be increased, and thus our land also will be decreased, and it will be immersed in the water. So that will be the one more bad effect that we can have when we are burning the fuel. We are getting that. So next we are having, when we are burning the coal, diesel, when we are burning it, we will be getting as a gift from it, that is the sulfur dioxide gas. So when we are burning these things, along with the heat energy, we are gifted by these things, that is very poisonous for ourselves. Now sulfur dioxide gas and the nitrogen oxide, they will be leading to some which is dangerous for us, that will be coming forward. Now petrol, when we are burning, we know on and often we are using any of the vehicle for some of the short purposes also. We are going from here to the small distance, we use the bike or the scooty or whatever we have. So what will it lead to? The petrol is going to combust, and because of that we are going to have the liberation of the oxides also. These oxides are the nitrogen oxides. Now nitrogen oxides combining with the sulfur dioxide, all these oxides will be coming together and will be forming very bad effect on the environment. How? When they are liberated to the environment, means in the gaseous form, after that if the rain will fall, the first rain that will be falling will be taking it together with them, the nitrogen oxides and the sulfur dioxide with it, and it will be going down to the ground, and because of that we are having the acid rain as a result, which is very bad for all the things, for the buildings also, for the crops also, for the plants also. It will be corroding all these things. So acid rain is led by us, because we are using the petrol on and often, we are using the diesel on and often. We cannot go without car anywhere, we cannot go without the bikes anywhere. So this will be the reason why acid rain is occurring on and often, and that is again going to result in the bad effect of our environment only. Now because of all these things, we can say that one of the fuel is there which is known as a cleaner fuel. Now why it is known as cleaner fuel? Let us see, we are having the best example is the CNG. We know that it is not so cheap, but we can find out that it is a very cleaner fuel. Now how it is cleaner fuel? It does not have any of the unburnt carbon particle left over there. It does not produces any of the dangerous gases from that. So we can say that instead of using any of these fuels, we can use the CNG, because it will not be having any of the bad effect on us or not on the environment. But that is not available so long in the environment, because it is formed after 300 or million years ago. So that is not available to all of us. So that is what the problem is. Now here we come to an end of the chapter, but before that let me tell you something about this also. Now when we are talking about the carbon fuel which we are getting from the wood or the plants, now what will happen? People were using it very often because it was readily available. You can go to the forest or you can go to nearby places where the woods are available. You can just cut it and you can buy it, or you can have it at your home. That was free of cost. It was very cheap also, because if somebody is allowing us, then at very low cost it will be available. But when we are burning it, it will be causing a huge disaster to us. And the other thing, when we are burning or cutting the forest, what will be happening to it? It will be a deforestation which was being leaded, and thus government has banned the cutting of the trees or the plants from the forest area. So that was one of the thing. Now as we have came to the end of this chapter, let's have a small recap of whole of the chapter that we have studied. So in this chapter we have seen that what is a combustion. When anything burns and gives us energy, that is known as the combustion. What are the things that has been burned? The things which can burn is known as combustible substance, and these things are known as fuel also. Okay, they will be liberating the energy and giving us heat and energy also. So we have seen the experiments also which were telling that how the combustion occurs. It requires air when the combustion is going on. Okay, the second thing we have studied about was that the sun is also having the combustion. Yes, it is having a nuclear energy or nuclear reaction that is going on in the sun. Then we have seen about the forest fire, we have seen about the ignition temperature, history of the matchstick, how it was being formed, and then we have seen about the one of the experiment also, that is the paper cup when boiling with the water. Okay, then we have seen about the what is inflammable substance, the substance which burn with the flame. Important thing. The substance that burns with the flame is known as inflammable substances. Then we have seen that how we can control the fire at any of the places, for even for the person also or for the places also, that is by CO2, by water, by sand, all these things for the different aspects when were burned. Then we have seen the types of the combustion. There were 3 types of the combustion that we have seen: rapid, spontaneous, and then we have seen was the explosion. All these 3 types we have seen very deeply also. Then we had seen about the flame. The types of the flame we have seen, that is the 3 types of the flames were there, that is the blue, yellow and the black flame. And then we have seen just now as the what is the fuel, what are the fuel efficiency, how it can be measured, what is the unit behind that, and all these things, and what are the bad effects, that is the disasters behind that when the fuel is being burned. So I suppose that you people have understood this chapter very nicely. Hope for the nice time further. Thank you.